Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to all the Burnout Basketball Podcast fans out there. Tonight we have or today, whenever you're listening, really, we have a very special episode. We're going to be going over all the Western Conference season total wins over-unders for each team. So, if Vegas said a team might win 50 games, they set the line at 50 and a half. We're going to be saying whether we think we're taking the over or whether we think we're taking the under on that. We're not worried about the odds. We're not worried about necessarily betting on this. None of this is gambling advice. We do have two very special guests on for this episode. We have a friend, Adrian Izquierdo, and another friend, Hansel Pupo. We'll be introducing them in just a bit. But before we get to the content, please make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, do all of that stuff. Hit me on the socials. We appreciate it. We thank you very much. And stay tuned as we get right into it right now. And we're back with another episode of the Burnout Basketball Podcast. And today we have not one, but two very special guests that I'm very excited to have here. We have a good friend, Adrian Izquierdo, with us, and we have another good friend, Hansel Pupo, today. Specifically today, not yesterday, not tomorrow. He's here today. So I'm very excited to have these two here. It's going to be my first, three-person pod. So excuse any roughness around the edges. We're figuring it out as we go. Just as some of these teams that we're going to be talking about are. A lot of them maybe are directionless. We're going to get into it. So as we mentioned at the top, right now, the schedule for today, we're going to go through the West. We're going to read off their over-under lines for their total wins on the season. We're not worried about the odds. This is not a betting podcast yet. But if FanDuel wants to reach out, if anyone wants to reach out, let me know. I'm willing to sell morals for money. So that's fine. But for now, as we are not sponsored, we're just worried about the predictions. We just want to know, do you think they're going to win less or more than what the odds books are telling us they're going to win? So without further ado, we're going to get into the possibly luckiest franchise of this past season, the Dallas Mavericks, after making the huge move of trading their star who just took them to the finals. They luck into the first pick in the NBA draft with some of the lowest odds possible to get that pick and get what seems like possibly another generational player in Cooper Flag. The over-under line for Dallas is 40 and a half wins. Pupo, what do you think? What are you feeling on Dallas right now?
Yeah, let's get into it. First of all, the most rigged pick we've ever seen, correct? I think we all could agree on that. I like the D'Lo signing. I think it's a good filler for Kyrie. Did they shut down AD last year for an injury, or did they just shut him down because they weren't gonna make it?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think at the end, they shut him down. I know he was pretty adamant about coming back after his injury, as he didn't want to let the fans down. But yeah, it was a little bit of both there.
Okay, so they added who else? And they drafted Flag. Chris, me and you have spoken about Flag before. I'm not sure where I have him at. I don't think I have him where most people had him pre-draft, like as in like a generational player. I think he's gonna be a very good player. But yeah, I mean, Kyrie out for the season, 40. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that over. To be honest, I think they could win at least 42 games this season.
Over, nice. Adrian,
Wow.
what are you thinking there?
Well, let me start by saying I agree with Pupo. If the Heat were in Dallas' situation, we're not getting the number one pick.
You don't think so?
No.
No.
No. The AD question is a big thing for me. I'm not sure exactly how things are going to look when he's back, especially with a rookie and Flag. How much does AD look to be the dominant player on the team, or does he look to be a mentor and let Flag kind of take his own journey as the leader of the team? That's going to be interesting for me. Like, what route do they decide to take? Especially because Kyrie's going to be out a majority of the season. The West is madness.
Yep.
I'm going to go under 40 because the West is just madness, and I think they just have a lot to figure out. And in the West, it's tough to be successful at all. Well, you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm torn with this team. I see where you're at. I see where you're both at. It's a question of like, they have this roster that was built to win now, despite trading Luka. Like, despite all the comments about it, and we all agree they shouldn't have traded Luka, and that they didn't probably get enough back. But that's not to say that AD is a bad player. He's a very good player. He's just not necessarily as good as Luka is right now, and he's older. Kyrie is obviously a good player who's injured. And then they have Derek Lively. They have Gafford at center. They have just all these bigs. They had this great roster that was ready to win, it felt like, but then they draft Flag, who, I mean, I think he's going to be an impact player immediately, but he's still a rookie, and they would be incredibly dumb to not give him all the runway in the world, because you just got the number one pick. They shouldn't be like limiting his minutes by any means. But that brings into a problem that they have this lineup of what, AD, Flag, and Lively all out there at the same time, because I don't think you're demoting Lively to the bench. So you have these three bigs, and then you're going to have D'Lo subbing in, which I just want to quote that Nico Harrison said that defense wins championships, and he proceeded to sign D'Lo. So that's, yeah. So I don't know what they're going to be able to do on that end. Like, it's just I feel like, not that the roster is bad, even with Kyrie out. I just feel like they're going to have to do some figuring out on how this team even plays.
I do think that the D'Lo pickup was a gap filler. That's going to be, I don't know what he signed for, or how many years he signed for, but he's going to be there for Kyrie. So he's going to be a starter.
But Kyrie defends
better than D'Lo.
Come on.
Yeah, way better than D'Lo. Actually, Kyrie, for being a smaller guard, he's actually a really good defender. If you guys remember their goal when he was in the Cavs versus Curry, you know, some could say Curry got clamped up. I don't want to go back into the stats to see what he averaged.
Don't get crazy.
Yeah, not clamped, but he definitely did.
No, but not clamped, but he did an amazing job for a player that was on fire that whole entire regular season.
Yeah.
But I don't know if, like, in the future when Kyrie, better said, what do you guys think this team averages, how many wins they would get if Kyrie was in the starting lineup?
If Kyrie was healthy, if you told me Kyrie was coming back in November, I'd hit the over in a moment. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd say at least 45 to 50 wins with a healthy Kyrie. But without it, with D'Lo starting, like, to not belabor it anymore, I'm gonna go ahead and give that. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the under on it.
Okay.
I'm in agreement. I part of my reason, just to like solidify it, is if AD's out for 15, 20 games, which happens, those are some games that, not going to be necessarily winning.
And it's really tough to win when you got to play all of these West Coast teams 3 and 4 times a year, while you're still trying to get your stuff together.
West Coast teams like this next one, Denver, they have at 53.5 wins. So they won 50 last season. They added Bruce Brown, Cam Johnson, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Valanciunas, and they lost MPJ and Saric, which weren't, I mean, MPJ was good for them. I don't want to discount that. Saric was nothing for them. So they turned MPJ into return of Bruce Brown, Cam Johnson, Hardaway Jr., and Valanciunas, who Valanciunas will be the best backup big that they've ever had for Jokic. So those minutes where they're going down like negative 50 when Jokic is on the bench, hopefully that's not as big of a difference. Valanciunas isn't who he once was anymore, obviously, but he's still a very serviceable big. And in the playoffs, they're only going to need him to play 10 minutes. In the regular season, which what we're talking about, I think he's decent enough to play, 15, 20 minutes a game, depending. I'm going to just go with mine already to start, just because I feel pretty passionately about this one. I'm going to say it's an over. Adrian, what do you think?
I'm with you, over, and by a good amount. I think that they made the right decisions this offseason. The Michael Porter Jr. situation was just always going to be complicated because, yes, he's tall. You've got the length. You've got the consistent shooting when he's there, when he's healthy. It just becomes a complication because that back can flare up at any given moment, right? Also, defensively, for the size that he has, he wasn't really giving them what they needed. I think bringing Bruce Brown back is going to bring back some of that aggression.
And he knows how to play there already.
Back and Cam Johnson, guys that are athletic wings. I think we're seeing that across the board. That's why they lost to Oklahoma City this year. and they went and attacked that problem.
Yeah, I really like Cam Johnson. And also, I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm going to assume that Murray will have a better season than he did last year. I'd hope. If he probably had his worst regular season last year, and he's not known for taking the regular season super seriously, but it was bad by his standards even last year. So if you just get a slightly improved Murray plus these additions, I think I could see the over. What are you thinking, Pupo?
This is tough. I'm gonna go with the over, but not gonna go crazy with it. But I'm taking the over. I used to follow Michael Porter Jr. heavy when everyone used to hear. I'm assuming everyone used to watch Ball Is Life here.
Yeah,
So I've been following MPJ. Everyone, I used to love MPJ. Mizu, I think he played 2-3 games before he got injured and never came back, and that's how he dropped. He dropped to 20th pick. He was supposedly going to be the first pick overall pick that year, but yeah. So, but yeah, KD build without the dribble, without the nice jump shot. He could shoot the ball.
He could shoot the ball.
Not as good as he could shoot the ball, but not as crazy as KD. Like Adrian said, to the defense for being close to 7 feet, like probably around 6'10" or whatever the case may be. Lanky cannot play defense at a good clip. So yeah, losing him probably the best thing they did, to be honest. I don't think he was worth it, or the extension. I think he's up for an extension sometime soon.
Yeah.
Adding back Bruce Brown, amazing. Cam Johnson, great player. Tim Hardaway Jr. gonna give you that little spark off the bench, and JV backup for the Joker. Easy. That's they. This team is gonna be really good, and I think it's the only team that's gonna give OKC a run for the money in the finals.
Yeah,
these guys put Valanciunas off the plane in Europe and sent them back.
Yeah. Valanciunas, you were not playing for Greece. You were coming back home and playing in America. So, yeah, no, I think we're all in agreement then. Poople's not a lock on the over, but he is feeling it. So, yeah, I think it's, you have the Joker. I'm going to always bet on them winning. So that's just the type of player he is. And then for a team, like the next one on our list, for Golden State, it's tough. They're slotted at 45.5. They won 48 last season. They lost Kevon Looney, it's kind of sad to see him go since he'd been with them for so long and such a great player there. They've made like the least moves of any team during the offseason. They're still waiting, I think, on just what happens with Kuminga before they're able to hopefully get Al Horford, or at least they're hoping. But even going ahead and assuming they get Al Horford, this is like, man, I'm not meaning this as an insult. I mean, I am, but I still appreciate Curry and Jimmy Butler to some extent. But this is like a retirement squad. Like just looking at the ages of these players, you have Curry, you have Draymond, you have Jimmy. Even if they get Al Horford, like, is this team in the West? I'm not doubting their chances in any playoff series necessarily if everyone's healthy, but like, is this the type of team that can win 46 games in the regular season in the West? It's tough. I don't know. Vegas is good at what they do. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah. I go ahead, Adrian, because I used to love this team as like my Western Conference team. Yeah, brother, like it's just they did such a bad job at mixing like win now and plan for the future. So it's a clusterfuck over there. So they got to see what happens with Kuminga. I think Al Horford was like pretty much a lock, but I don't think he ever signed with them, if not mistaken.
Yeah, everyone is assuming he's going there. They have to figure out the Kuminga thing before they're able to make that signing. And so
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, losing Looney, huge part of their best big man as like in the center. You still have an old ass Draymond Green, which is still a decent player. Jimmy and Curry are an amazing duo, probably like 3 years ago, and probably could win something like 3 or 4 years ago. It's not to say that Jimmy's bad or that Curry's bad, but they're just older at this point, and But yeah, give me this under. This is an easy under. I don't think that they could. Nah, I don't think they could win 46 games, to be honest.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Adrian?
I'm gonna take the under. I think, like Pupo mentioned, losing Looney, big loss. Not just for them on the court because he did all the hustling, aside from Draymond Green. Mm-hmm. But that's got to be a big change in the locker room for them. He was there for all of it, and he was always the guy that would just put his worker's hat on and go to work and stay quiet and do all the dirty work for them. and never got much of the credit except from their own fan base.
He was perfect.
That's going to be a heavy one for them. Replacing him with someone like Al Horford, who's going to fit that same role and who's going to be a great leader for the team, is nice. It's just different.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
I don't think Al. Well, I know for sure I was not gonna put that dirty work in. Like at least Looney would. He was still a good lateral defender. Yeah. You think he's gonna put up the boards or like the tough defense?
Was doing it for Boston.
He was. Yeah. He's 39 years old.
I know, but
that's not terrible. I thought he was at least 40, 41 at this point. But at 39, that's not too shabby.
I don't know, man.
The guy's always kept himself in great shape.
He does keep himself in great shape. That is true. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like waiting on his fall off. He's a
very, very underrated player. I think we don't talk about him enough.
Players. And I mean, he was a star before, but at this point, he's like the LeBron of all players. I think we're all in agreement.
We're going to run into the Jimmy effect. The Jimmy effect. Jimmy got paid.
That's true. And regular season Jimmy is
that. We know as Heat fans, Jimmy is not really looking forward to the regular season. He'll show up in May when it's time to show up. And that's going to put a big strain on this team because Curry's going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting throughout the year. And I don't know if he's trying to do that anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't think he wants to.
Yeah.
I don't think he can. We're still going to see Curry pop off because Curry is, sorry, my take, top 10 players of all time, top 5 maybe, maybe for me. But it's just Kuminga. What's his other rookie? That not a rookie. Well, he got drafted with Kuminga. I just forgot his name right now.
Pods.
Well, Pods got a massive drop off this year compared to his freshman year. No, but Kuminga got drafted with someone else. With Moses Moody. Is Moses Moody still on the team?
He is still on the team. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so they don't have enough bench players like how we're gonna eventually talk about like OKC. Like they just have an amazing deep squad. This team is top heavy with old players. That's the unfortunate part. Like
very top heavy with all old players. It's tough for them. So and Kerr hates
This reminds me of the old E teams.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just hanging on.
Yeah, it's just hanging on, and you're not gonna let Curry walk away. Like you're not gonna. Now maybe commit that same mistake with Clay, but Curry's see, he's a warrior for life. That's it. It's already done. So she's got to write it out until the sunset, and that's pretty much it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean it's true. We're all in agreement here. I think this is where we'll start having some super point of views going forward. But Golden State, we're all hitting the under on that one. At least I'm feeling that for the regular season. Houston, on the other hand. They're slated at 55.5 for their over-under. They won 52 last season. They added Clint Capella. They added Kevin Durant. They added Okogie. They added Dorian Finney-Smith. They lost Dylan Brooks. They lost Jalen Green and Cam Whitmore. They re-signed pretty much all of their starters besides Jalen Green and Brooks. They have Van Vliet, Jabari Smith, Aaron Holiday, Steven Adams, Jeff Green, Jayshawn Tate. They have a pretty deep roster. Reed Shepard was looking decent in the very few minutes he got last season. I like this team a lot. The over-under line is a hard one to parse out, though. Adrian, what do you think? I kind of know Pupo's feelings from some offline talk, but what are you thinking about the Houston?
I'm smashing the over here. Ime Udoka is my favorite coach outside of Eric Spoelstra in the NBA by far. By far.
Spoken like a truly single man.
We all know what he did with Boston. We all know what he did with Houston and turning that 20-win team into the number 2 seed in the West.
No, it's true.
They were young and they couldn't do much in the playoffs, but to go and do what they did in the West this year was extremely impressive.
Mm-hmm. With defense.
Man, I'm a big fan of the Thompson twins.
Yeah,
those guys are dogs, and Ime has them playing some really good ball. Losing Jalen Green is going to really hurt, but when you replace him with arguably, I don't think it's a debate, but I think is the best scorer of all time in KD. I mean, he's going to shoot a shot whenever you need one, and he's going to add that much-needed experience that team didn't have this run.
And the benefit, too, is that I don't think, there's always a conversations more about KD as a leader rather than him as a player. I think everyone in the world can agree on KD's greatness as a player, but Ime is the leader of this team, which, it's like not as black and white as to say in other teams where you could say like every coach is the leader. Like, no, Ime really is the personality of this team. All those young players have just embodied Ime's personality.
No, you can see it.
Yeah, it's they. I mean, the Thompson twins. I love him, but he body slammed, suplexed Tyler Hero. But that attitude is pure Ime's attitude. That's like bleeding into this team, and all KD has to go out there and hoop with a bunch of ballers. So, Pupo, what are you thinking on that one?
Yeah, give me this under for sure. KD. KD's old, and I share the same sentiment with Adrian. I think he's the best scorer of all time. Definitely the best scorer I've ever seen. Finney Smith actually better said. Okay, at that. Losing Jalen Green, the verdict is still out for him. I don't know what to make of him, to be honest. I think he's a good player, but
the microwave
not sure if he's
for sure.
Yeah, like it's too on and off for me to even give a firm opinion on him. Jabari Smith, I think, is coming to his role literally as a role player. I think he's good at what he does. I don't think he's going to be great. Good player nonetheless, though. Aaron Holiday, it's okay. Steven Adams, the voice of the team. Jeff Green, okay. Van Beek, huge fan of him. But yeah, I don't know if that's 55.5.
It is a high over. It is like I think it's definite they're going to win more than 52, but 56 is.
Yeah. Well, they won 52 for the second seed last year.
Yep. Yeah, OKC lapped everybody by a tremendous amount last year.
Yeah, that's that. We'll get to them eventually. That is crazy, but yeah, no, I don't see them winning 56.
Hitting the under, nice.
Yeah.
Man, this is a tough one for me. You know what? No, I'm going not even off the KD edition. I'm going off the strength of the Thompson twins. I'm hitting the over for that. I just
yes.
I love them. I love them, and yeah, it's an over for me. Maybe not as confidently as Adrian hit the over, but it's an over for me. I think I'm gonna go with that. I really like them, and then even. Again, this isn't a playoff pod, but I think them and the Nuggets are the two scariest teams to me if I'm OKC in the playoffs. I do not want to play Houston.
Well, this is a mean. Both of them don't play. It's just a mean Thompson that plays for the Rockets.
Yeah. Amin Thompson for the Rockets and Osar is for Detroit. Amin is looking like the better one currently, but Osar was out with injury for a decent amount of time.
Okay, yeah. If the Rockets Thompson twin starts playing good. Well, not starts playing good. If he develops a shot.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That kid's gonna be a problem. Yeah, and
what he did to Curry in the playoffs was extremely impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That I've never seen someone cover him like that.
And it was just nonstop. Wouldn't let him breathe. Like he's a freak, dude. He's a freak athlete. So it's a soft over for me. It's a hard over for Adrian. It's a hard under for Pupo. We're going to move on to another one that I'm sure there's going to be some disagreements on. The Los Angeles Clippers. They won 50 games last season, and this season, over-under line is right at 49.5. Wondering if they'll win 50 again, or if they're going to win under that pretty much. They added Beal on a very cheap deal, so any thoughts that people might have around Beal were more to do with the exorbitant contract and the no-trade clause he was on. He's not a star anymore, but he's not a bad player. Just not worth $50 million a year. John Collins, who they've added, who didn't play much for Utah, because when he played for Utah, they won too much or were too good on the court. Still seems like a decent player, still young, knows his role. Brook Lopez, who they added for spot minutes, a little older, but still decent. Chris Paul, who is also kind of understanding of his role, that he'll be coming off the bench for the most part for this team. And then, of course, they lost Norman Powell. So they did get some stuff, and I do want to mention, I do not know this player at all. They did get a one first-round draft pick. It was the last pick, the number 30 pick. They drafted Yannick Konen. I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I'm 100% sure. He is some 6'11" Euro guy. So someone off the bench to, I guess, had minutes. My concern with this roster, personally, is a similar concern to Golden State, is it's a lot of old guys. And I mean, even age-wise, it's not even their ages are that old, but a lot of just injury-prone guys too. Harden misses time. Kawhi obviously misses time. Beal misses time. Brook Lopez will probably miss some time. Chris Paul will probably miss some time. It's tough for me on that front. So to make sense of it, they seem to be like the media darlings on most podcasts I've been hearing. Everyone's very excited about the Clippers. But every season, it feels like everyone is excited about the Clippers.
Exactly.
It's like every year since Kawhi and Harden got there, it's like, this is the year where the fucking Clippers are going to do it. And I'm just going to go with I'm gonna just go with under. Even though I do want to say, I think Steve Ballmer is a baller. He's probably like my favorite owner in the NBA. It seems like he's willing to spare no expense to promote his team, so go him. But I'm gonna hit the under on this team, at least for me personally. I have no faith that all those players are gonna play a majority of the season.
Interesting. Age, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. I'll go. I'm gonna take the under, 100%. Kawhi played 37 games last year. A majority of the ones he played, they won. I'm a fan of the Ty Lue situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bunch of older players slapped together on a team. We've seen this before, and it normally does not end well. I do like the Brook Lopez edition. And John Collins as well. I think he's a great athletic wing. I just don't think you're going to get enough consistency from Beal and Kawhi that they had from like a Norman Powell. And it just doesn't, in that Western Conference, it just doesn't seem likely to me that they do
Norman
anything.
Powell was great for them in the regular season. I mean, again, like Beal in limited minutes, I think can somewhat reproduce what Norman Powell did. I think John Collins is going to be a nice lob threat for Harden to throw the ball to. I think the fit is nice on all those pieces, and on paper, if all of them are healthy at all times, like it's going to be a fun roster. There's definitely going to be a little bit of figuring out to do, I think. Just naturally, it's a bunch of guys who weren't playing together last year. But yeah, it's interesting. Pupo, how are you feeling? I know you're a big Harden guy.
Yeah, huge Harden guy. To begin with, I never thought the Clippers, even when they had their three players, I never thought the Clippers played fun basketball. Big Harden guy nonetheless, though. But this is a hard, easy money, even probably second in the West. Give me this over for sure.
Wow.
This is an easy over.
Okay.
You lost Norman Powell, which he, was he an all-star player? Yes, by all accounts. Yeah. But was he really an all-star player? Not really, no. But, for 49 and a half, I mean, Vegas is saying they're going to win less games than last year. That's insane. I'm probably going to bet that after this call, to be honest. Yeah. But, give me Bradley Beal actually playing. John Collins, like Adrian said, an amazing wing player. Brook Lopez, great player. Chris Paul going to give you those garbage minutes or those times where you do need like a veteran on the floor for the second team or even for the first team. You mean, F it, Lob City 2.0, baby.
Lob City 2.0, that's good. Ouch. I will say it is easy. Cool. It is cool, regardless of the amount of wins they get, that Chris Paul will be able to retire with the Clippers. That's a cool story.
Yeah,
I think, regardless.
I think that's a good. Well, he did say, I think, that this is his last year. He did, never confirmed it. Okay, yeah, okay. So he did confirm it.
Yeah.
And it's nice, even though he debuted with the New Orleans Hornets.
Yeah.
Wasn't Charlotte Hornets? No, Charlotte Hornets.
No, it was the New Orleans Hornets.
The New Orleans Hornets, yeah, before they went to Charlotte. Yeah. Exactly. So this will be nice. This is when Chris Paul became, the great Chris Paul, as we all know him at this point. So yeah. So this is gonna be nice to see, and yeah, man, this is an easy over. Like I said, bro, they got way better.
That's a spicy prediction, an easy over. I like that. That's fun. Going to their neighbors, the Los Angeles Lakers, who are slotted to win. They have them at 47.5. They won 50 games last season. They added DeAndre Ayton. Some call him dominating. That's what he's known for. They added Jake LaRavia, and I really like this. They added Marcus Smart, which I like it on a personal level because F the Celtics, and to see a Celtics player in a Lakers uniform is always going to give me just like a little bit of happiness, a little bit of joy. They did lose Dorian Finney-Smith, which was a big loss for them. This is this is like the craziest sentence to say. This is a contract year for 40-year-old LeBron, who was an all-star last year, an all-NBA player last year. 40-year-old LeBron was an all-NBA player. I think people we all talk about him like he's washed already because he's 40, but he was literally a top 15 player in the NBA last year. He helped us win an Olympic gold medal. Aside from those last 2 Curry games, he was...
Yeah, because I was about to say that because
Curry went off, but Curry was invisible for the first 4 games of the Olympics, and LeBron was...
That is very true.
LeBron was his typical LeBron self, just consistent in every freaking game at 40. And again, it's a contract year for him. He kind of... And he's not... This is not his last year. He has not said it's his last year. I don't believe that it is. I don't think any of us here think it's his last year. I think he's going to announce that way before he's going to have his whole retirement tour. He kind of has to prove how much money he's worth this season. Luka is looking nice and skinny. I don't know if you guys have seen the recent videos of him.
Stop. We got to stop with this. No, this is every summer. I don't believe this.
It's not just pictures. He is looking, I'm telling you, he is looking as skinny as he did like his rookie year. He is looking slim.
Will he be as athletic though?
Look. I am slamming the over on this. They were the 3rd. I don't know. It's crazy to me. It's just insane to me. They were the 3rd seed in the West last year, and people talk about them like they were washed. They got exposed in the playoffs because guess what? They didn't have a center. They had to play Jackson Hayes as their starting center. Crazy. And then they tried to play. They tried to play a whole second quarter without making any subs because JJ Redick was just desperate. They had nothing. This is a contract year for Aiden. I'm not super high on him. I think his time.
No.
I think his time with the Trailblazers was terrible. But I will say, his time with the Suns was underrated. They made it to the finals with him when he was very, very young. He was able to play decently throughout a whole stretch of playoffs. He was a starting center for a finals team. That cannot be taken away from him. It's a prove it year for him. It is the most prove it year for him. Literally, if he does not play well this year, he's out of the league pretty much, or on minimum contracts for the rest of his career. They have Marcus Smart, who I think is still a dog, who is excited about the Luka fit. I think Luka's going to have an MVP season this year. JJ Redick, I think, is a great coach and is only going to get better. I don't know. I'm taking the over on this. Wait, just give it to me. Yeah.
That's spicy. That is very spicy. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead real quick. Give me this under. I think Aiden is a bum. I think he's horrible. Get ready to learn Mandarin, brother, because you're gonna be in China because he is gonna play back because he's not a good player. Marcus Smart, good bench player. What else can you expect from Marcus Smart? Yeah, man, an obvious decline from LeBron James. You do have one of the top 5 players in Luka and in his skinny mode, allegedly. Can't wait till he downs 3 beers. He's gonna down 3 beers and then get fat again. But that's another conversation.
Don't forget the hookah.
Yeah, and the hookah. Yeah, exactly. Hey, one full sprint, this guy's gonna be like,
Fat Luka still carried them to the finals. Still carried them out to the finals. Fat Luka did.
With Kyrie.
Yeah. Kyrie was invisible in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference Finals. In that Timberwolves series, Kyrie was invisible.
He very much was invisible, but not for
the whole playoff run. Just that series, I will say.
Yeah, but what? That's crazy. Damn, Vegas does have. Yeah, no, give me this under. That point blank period. Just give me the under.
Adrian, I have a feeling I think I know where you're leaning.
Oh yeah, 100%. Give me the under. I'm with Pupo. Aiden's a bum. What did you say they called Aiden, Chris?
Aiden gave himself the nickname. He has it tatted on him. Dominated.
Oh wow. With
I think he might like being dominated, but I'm gonna leave that there. Yeah, no thank you.
No thank you.
I love LeBron, and he was a top 15 player last year, like real deal. But he's 41. What does this team look like now after a training camp with Luka now taking over as the leader of this team? And like you said, Luka seems to be in shape. He got the message from his coach, who sent him a very direct message in public.
Yep.
Shout out to players that can take harsh criticism.
We all know what you're talking about.
I'll leave that one there too. Shout out Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
I just don't see. So I think Luka can carry the team very far. I just don't know if it's gonna look like what it's supposed to look like in the regular season at first.
Can I say
I don't
something real
know.
quick? Is this going to be the worst team that Luka has played on, except for maybe his freshman or sophomore year in the league?
I'm not sure, but it might be. Like,
This easily might be the worst team he's going to play with.
they need help.
Really
They need
bad.
help.
I think
If they struggle to get into the play-in situation,
I think the Mavericks before trading for Gafford arguably was worse than this team. But I get what you mean. Roster wise, I think that sentiment is fully like held up on whatever you think Aiden is going to do this season. If Aiden is
Yeah.
a good player this season, then I'd say this roster is decent. If Aiden is as bad as he was
That's
the
where-
past 2 years, then I'd say this roster is terrible. Like they
That's where I'm
need a
confused
good center.
here. Exactly. That's what confuses me, right? And Rob Pelinka gets a lot of credit for making a Luka trade that was offered to him.
No, he shouldn't get any
Not
credit.
that he actually did anything,
Yeah.
but he gets a lot of credit for that and for the turnover that they have every year on that team, because a lot of people feel like just making moves is always the right decision. Well, this is what happens when you make moves, 4 and 5 moves every season, every year.
It was the
This is
Westbrook
the
trade
team
that really ruined them. That Westbrook trade set them back. But I just want to point out too that, again, this is not being reported. No one has said this, but when I look at this team, I think an easy spot that they can make a swap for an upgrade at a different position is trading Austin Reeves. I don't know if they're going to do that.
I've also heard those rumors, and like, not rumors, but like just like this is the only spot like we could do something with here.
I think Austin Reeves is a really good player. I'm not devaluing him at all, but I just don't think he's necessarily the best player to pair next to Luka with. I feel like you can upgrade to try to get a wing or a power forward or center, depending on Aiden, just to.
Or why not? Or why is he not your 6th man running the second unit?
But he's gonna want. And he's gonna want to, deservingly so, have his minutes because he's playing really well. I don't think he's an ego kind of player.
Minutes. At the end of the day, what matters is who plays in the 4th.
But can you really still survive in the regular season with a roster of like a starting lineup or an ending lineup of Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves out there?
Yes. Especially if you want to play in today's NBA where everyone's playing 5 out.
That is true.
Yeah. I do think they need to spread it more, so they need shooters. I think them missing out on an opportunity like a Duncan Robinson hurt them, because if they want to transition to this 5 out up and down game that's starting to basically take over the league now with the whole AAU trend and all of that that's gotten into the NBA. I don't see it. Even Aiden can kind of shoot the 3 ball, right, Chris?
I don't.
He's not from 3. I don't think he has I'll look it up right now for us. I don't think he has necessarily
I thought in Phoenix he was able to shoot it a little bit, but even then, again, like if your biggest issue, you're the 3 seed, you lose in the playoffs, right? And you lose because you're missing a center. The center you go out and get to fix the problem is DeAndre Ayton. You're in a bad spot.
Yeah. Well, remember last year, it was their rookie that they sent out for this guy from Charlotte. What's his name again? And they ended up doing physicals on him, and they were like, "Yeah, this guy's very injured." Yeah, and they sent him back. But even that Marcus Williams is a million times better than Aiden. Hopefully I'm wrong and Aiden pops off.
So Adrian, on very little attempts, he did have that one season where he was shooting like 36%. It was on very little attempts though. He's shot the next season after that on little attempts. It was like around 30%. But yeah, then there's this crazy drop off to his Portland on even less attempts, shooting 10 and 20%. Yeah, so I don't.
Yeah, no, never mind then.
Yeah, it's tough on that. He's a decent free throw shooter. Not the best free throw shooter. He's decent at it. He has a good kind of pick and pop game from a little bit closer in the arc, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hitting the over on it. I respect both of your unders. I respect it both, but I'm going with the over. Moving on. This next one I do not know how to feel about at all. Memphis. They're slotted at 40.5. They won 48 last season. They added KCP, they added Ty Jerome, they added Jock Lawndale, just decent role players. Ty Jerome was really good for the Cavs, but again, a role player. They lost Desmond Bane, who's pretty good for them. They lost Luke Kennard, and they lost Jay Huff, who was also pretty good for them. I will say, just want to mention, they drafted at 11 Cedric Coward, and this is not confirmed by anyone, but if you guys listen to the Mismatch podcast on The Ringer, they had a guy who met Chris Vernon at a Target, a random person at Target, said to Chris Vernon that Cedric Howard would be the best player in this draft and that Cedric Howard's floor is Michael Jordan. That was a random guy at Target, also known as Target Guy, who spoke to Chris Vernon and said this about Cedric Howard. So if they drafted Michael Jordan, I feel like you're going to have to say the over. I don't know if I agree with that take on them drafting Michael Jordan, but I'm honestly not sure how to feel about this team. What are you guys thinking?
I'll go ahead here. I'm going to smash the over on Memphis. Shout out to Mike Miller. I think John Morant is going to go crazy this year. I think being a year removed from all of the mess, I think last year he was kind of like figuring things out again after the mess, dealing with the whole situation with the team and their coaching situation. I think they had a lot of noise that was on the court instead of off the court. I think this year they've been relatively quiet aside from the Desmond Bane move. They've been relatively quiet. They've been keeping their head down. I think if John Morant can keep his head down and keep doing his thing when it's the season time, he'll turn up. And if he can stay healthy, I think they can get well over 44, 45 wins.
Nice. Okay. Pupo, how are you feeling? What do you think?
I think Adrian convinced me on this one because I was kind of going to smash that under, but like Adrian said, it was a weird year for Ja coming back from a year like that. He was basically, he didn't play 2 years ago, right? Like not even one single game, huh?
He got shut down with a really like 4 games or something weird, like very small. Okay, amount. He was out and then he came back and then he got injured pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, a year like that. Losing Desmond Bane is obviously not a superstar, nothing close, but he's a very great player. Luke Kennard, another huge loss. The Cedric Howard being Michael Jordan, I think that's Chris Vernon just being a Memphis homer.
Chris Vernon did not say this. Someone said it to Chris Vernon at Target. Said it. Yeah, just
okay. I think that is insane. But yeah, give me that over. I think they're gonna find their way. I don't think they're gonna make much noise in the postseason. Granted, this is not a postseason podcast, or we're not talking about the postseason, but I don't think they're gonna do a lot in the postseason. But for 40.5, yeah, give me that. I think they can win 41, 42. That's kind of good.
Yeah, man. I'm in the same boat as you, Pupo. I was ready to hit the under. I was like, I don't like it. And then Adrian started talking, and I'm like, you know what? Why can't Joe have a crazy season? Why can't Jaren Jackson Jr. have a great season? KCP, Ty Jerome, those are good players. Jock Landale is a pretty decent player. They did have some losses, but yeah, man, maybe they could do it. They fired their coach. They got a different coach in there. Maybe you know what? Yeah, give me the over. I'm not smashing it.
What did Desmond Bane go for? 3 first-round picks, if I'm not mistaken. How much was? How many? 4 first-round picks for Desmond Bane.
They will likely be late first-round picks, but
okay, yeah. But still, the way we spoke about this the other day, that is insane.
That is a lot of picks for Desmond Bane.
That is crazy. Yeah. That is crazy, but yeah.
I'm very excited when we get to do a recording about the East over-unders talking about Orlando Magic. I'm very excited about that. But yeah, okay, so we're all in agreement. We're going to hit the over. I'm going to go ahead and pause here for a moment. Back from a quick ad break there. Not any real ads, but we just had to read them to ourselves because we're getting those reads in. We're putting in the reps. We're getting ready so that when we're called upon, we are ready to answer the call. So moving on to our next team here alphabetically, we're going to be talking about Minnesota, the Timberwolves. They won 49 games last season. Guess what their over-under line is set to? 49.5. Will they win slightly more than last season? Will they win slightly less than last season? They lost Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who was pretty good for them. And then they lost Luka Garza, Josh Minnow, decent players. I don't think they're necessarily hurting from that. They drafted at number 17. I'm sure I'm pronouncing his last name wrong and maybe even his first name. Johan Beringer. He's French.
I think it's Beringer.
Yeah, he's a French center. Looks like kind of maybe they're hoping for their Rudy Gobert replacement in a few years as he grows. Not ready this year to be a Rudy Gobert replacement, but a French guy to put next to Rudy, another tall French guy. They still have, obviously, Anthony Edwards. They still have Julius Randle. They still have Naz Reid. How do we feel, Adrian? How are we feeling about the Minnesota Timberwolves?
I'm going to take the over. I think that saying in a few years is a little too late. I think that Minnesota's trying to get their hands off Rudy Gobert as quickly as possible. That's kind of been the noise since the deadline. And even in this offseason, I think you're getting a much cheaper version of Rudy Gobert. We've seen it year in and year out in the playoffs. I mean, he he struggles when you put him in a lot of these. Once you start to get into the playoffs and you get a lot of more of these pick and roll actions and a lot more of this ISO half court game, I think that he gets put in bad situations a lot. And it can force Minnesota into bad situations. It's ultimately why one of him and Cat had to go, because they just couldn't both be on the floor together. It didn't work. I think that I feel the same way about Rudy that I feel about Aiton. I'll leave that there to not be long winded. I definitely think they hit the over, though, because I do think that as the season goes on, this rookie center is going to get more minutes, gain more confidence. And I think that they'll make a strong push in the playoffs.
Pupo, what are you feeling?
Yeah, give me the over. I just think don't quote me, but I think he will get better as the season goes on. Losing Luka Garza, who cares about that? Losing Nikhil, nothing too crazy. Josh Meno, nothing too crazy either. But yeah, just give me that over. And I do think as well, Julius really started finding his rhythm in this team later as the season went by. So with Vegas giving you 0.5 difference, yeah, just give me that over.
All right. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to zag on this one. I'm going to hit a hard under on the Minnesota Timberwolves. My reasoning here, part of my reasoning here, Mike Conley is getting older. And we've seen more and more is not necessarily who you want to be your point guard. And because of where they're at, it seems like oftentimes he's the one with the ball in his hands having to make the decisions. I think he's a natural shooting guard, even like a small forward type of player. I think he's best cutting, best kind of getting that pass. I don't think Mike Conley's going to be able to play as much as he used to. He's 37 years old, and he was already declining last year. I think this second year player, Rob Dillingham, who they're hoping to fill into that Mike Conley role, I don't think he's ready. He weighs maybe 125 pounds soaking wet.
Yep.
I don't think he's ready for that. I do agree. I not necessarily agree. It's proof. They did play better in the second half of the year once things started clicking a little bit better with the addition of Julius Randle. But again, in the playoffs, that fell apart. I feel the same way about Julius Randle that Adrian feels about Rudy Gobert and about dominating. I am not a fan of his game. I am a fan of him as a person. I think he's a good guy. I've heard nothing but good things about him as a person. But as a basketball player, not a fan. I'm expecting things to go to shit. I'm hoping that Anthony Edwards is blowing a fuse. A lot of this is a little bit of hopium. I hope Anthony hates it now. He's wondering what happened to this team that I've been competing with, that I've been winning with. You traded my boy Cat to New York. I liked playing with Cat. What was up with that? I don't want to be in Minnesota anymore. I want to get out of here. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think he sees the rest of the West getting better. And can you really look at this team and say, yeah, man, they've gotten better? I don't know. The only thing that makes them better is if Anthony Edwards got better, which I think he will be. I think he'll continue to improve.
I think he's going to make a huge jump this year.
Yeah, I think there's no
he learned last year how to play through the double teams. Last year, he really struggled when he was just eating double teams and and that they couldn't really, he didn't know how to maneuver out of it and still be successful and help his teammates be successful in those situations. I think now with an entire offseason to look at that and get a lot more perspective on it and work on that, I think he's going to make a big jump. I do hope, just like you do, that Ant does get upset and leaves Minnesota eventually. Yeah. But I just don't know if we're there yet. Like, I think this could be the year that he makes the big push and realizes the team around him isn't much better than it was the year before. And I think this could be the year that changes things. But I think he's going to have to get through it this year and his own growth this year first.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. And again, you both have the over. I'm hitting a hard under, but I'm not saying they're going to be a bad team. Like, the line is at 49.5. I could see them winning 47 games, 46 games. It's all a small margin of error here. I'm not like they're going to be in the lottery. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at. This next team, I'm very curious to see what we think. New Orleans Pelicans. They won 21 games last season. Their over-under is set to 30.5. They added Sadiq Bey. They added Kevon Looney. They added Jordan Poole. We got a pool party in here. Some two Warriors reuniting under a Pelicans jersey. They lost Bruce
In the
Brown.
world.
Yeah, they lost CJ McCollum and they lost Kelly Olynyk. They drafted the player who will have the coolest jersey ever, Jeremiah Fears. He wears the number 0, Fears. He is destined for greatness. His floor might be Michael Jordan just because of the name 0 Fears. It's just too good. And then they also, what a boneheaded move, but they traded their next year's pick to move up in the draft to get number 13 Derek Queen, who looked all right in Summer League. He looked all right. He might be good. He might not be. Obviously, we all know what's going on. Well, actually, none of us know what's going on with Zion Williamson and how many games he will actually play. I think that's like the biggest question. Obviously, when you're thinking about the New Orleans over-under, I'm going to go ahead and still say, though, I'm going to hit an over. Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to hit an over.
Wow.
I'm going to go with 31 games.
Wow.
I'm going to go with 31 games. That's where I'm feeling. I think Zion will at least play more this year. I think he has to see the writing on the wall, right? Like, he has to see and hear what everyone's saying about him. You think he's just completely...
No, he doesn't care anymore. As someone that watched all of his Duke games, as someone that bought a Zion Williamson t-shirt jersey, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
That guy is he's just fat, man. He's a very big guy. He's lost weight, but I think he's damaged goods, unfortunately. It is what it is, man. Vegas at 30.5. Can they win 31? They lost CJ McCollum, which CJ McCollum didn't really play too well for them, aside for like his first 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
Added Jordan Poole, who cares, right? Kevon Looney, yeah, sure, not gonna make him better. Adding Sadiq Bey too. No, get me on there. I'll wrap this team up. This team sucks.
What do you? Well, I have a feeling you're in agreement with Pupo. Adrian, what are you thinking?
Actually, no. I'm going to take the over. I think we get a better version of Zion this year. I don't know about consistency. I will say I think we get a better version of Zion. I don't know for how many games that'll be. We'll have to see. I do think Jordan Poole, you're going to lose him in NOLA. It's New Orleans. You're going to lose him. I like the Kevon Looney addition. Losing McCollum really hurts just because of the vet presence.
Yeah, sure.
And just the example that he brought to that team all the time as being a leader. They did keep one of my favorite defenders. They just re-signed him to a new contract. And Trevor Jones, beast. I think he's a great defender. Adding Sadiq Bey also helped a lot. I think it helped a lot. I think they can hit it. They can hit 31, 32. I'm not sure if they can get much higher than that. It'll all depend on how many games Zion plays, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that this all depends on how many games Zion plays. And Pupo's, we're hitting the over and under on Zion games played. That's where we're really hitting on. Pupo's taking the under, and we're both taking the over just on pure hopium.
That's right.
He's on the 3rd year of his contract. He still has 2 more years on that contract after this one, which is crazy.
Gotta grow up eventually.
I know we're not talking about individual players here right now, but it's just Zion. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows what to make of him at this point, because we saw him play very good, be injured, lose weight, be kind of good again. So we don't know what type of player Zion is, to be honest. So
whenever he plays, it's good, but it's once every 10 days, that he plays.
Exactly. So it's a hard metric to gauge with that kid, and it's unfortunate because I was so firm on him. Even when he was at his biggest, I was like, no, Charles Barkley 2.0. This guy jumps, this guy shoots, he could do everything. He could run point, funny looking point. He was an exciting player, yeah. But hey man, if you can't stay healthy, what's the point?
Well, and at the end of the day, remember, guys, Jeremiah Fears, I'm booking it now, is going to be the best rookie in this draft. So
you heard it here first.
Jeremiah Fears. And that's why they're going to hit the over, because of purely off the strength of Jeremiah Fears. Moving on to a team that it's my favorite team that's not the Miami Heat. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Their over-underline is set to 62.5. They won 68 wins last season. The best team in the West by far. By far. The second seed were the Houston Rockets at 52 wins. Like, they lost one game in the regular season to the East. One game. And
That's crazy.
On all the games they played against the East, they lost one game in the regular season. They are a freak of nature squad. They only lost Dylan Jones. Does that matter to any of you guys? Don't think so. They added Nikola Topic because he was unhealthy last year. He was a lottery pick in last year's draft, was injured all year, played Summer League, and was looking really, really good in Summer League. Like, of course, his name is Nikola. And they got another lottery pick, or almost lottery pick, 15. They drafted Thomas Swerber. They have J-Dub. They have another year of Chet, whereas Chet got injured last year. People don't remember, both Chet and Hardenstein were injured for a good chunk of last year, and they still won. They won 68 games with both their centers injured. I think the only argument here, and I'll hear what you guys have to say. I think the only argument to say the under is just fatigue from winning the finals. I think that'd be the only argument to say an under. But they're
too young for that.
They're too young, and these guys, like, I'm in love with all their personalities, man. Like, in all their interviews, like, they don't get too high, they don't get too low. They just play ball. They just play ball. Yeah. I'm taking the over. I don't know. I just can't. I'm not betting against this team.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chris. I'm smashing the over. I think if they can keep it healthy, they just re-signed everyone. They're the champs, as we said. It's very simple. I think they might be able to win 70 this year. They won 68 last year. I think if they're healthy consistently, I think that they might be able to touch 70. Their coach has a really good pulse on that team. They're young, they're fiery, they're fun, and it just looks like they love being around each other all the time.
They all love each other, dude.
You can't ask more, and I just don't see them getting worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know where they lose 6 more games. Like, it's just, yeah. Pupo, what are you feeling?
Yeah, give me this over. I mean, we don't have to speak too much on it. Like you said, fatigue. That's the only way. But we're also seeing something that's not really. Well, we've never seen the youngest squad to ever win a championship, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
I think
age
youngest in like at least 50 years. Yeah, it's.
So we're seeing a new trend in the NBA with these young players. You know, not 3-and-D, but like just players that can play everyone in the court.
Wing players.
Yeah, exactly. Wing players. So, and then you have, and they're deep. Pause. So we're seeing something that's never been seen before. And to Vegas give them 62.5, the only thing I could assume is that they're like, fatigue, but they're young, very young. So I don't see any fatigue happening sometime soon. And if any fatigue is going to happen, it'll be in the postseason. It's not going to be in the regular season. So give me this over for sure.
Just to confirm, they're the second youngest team to ever win the title.
Behind whom?
The youngest was in 1977, the Blazers.
Okay, so that doesn't even exist, to be honest.
Years.
Yeah, according to Tyler Hero, none of those things even happened. Then.
Exactly.
So,
word to Tyler Hero.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're all in agreement. This next one, the Phoenix Suns. They're slotted at 31.5. They won 36 last season. A miserable season. They added Jared Butler, Dylan Brooks, Jordan Goodwin, Jalen Green, Mark Williams, Nigel Hayes-Davis. They lost Beal. Well, they didn't lose Beal. They bought out Beal, so that contract is still on the books. They lost Beal. They lost Durant. They lost Tyus Jones. They lost Vasily Micic. Mason Plumlee, Ty Washington. They drafted at 10 Kaman Malawach, who's a 7-1 center. He looks decent, but he's a very young center. Man, Pupo, what do you think? What do you think? Are you a Devin Booker guy?
I'm a huge Devin Booker guy. I like two guards in general. These teams are kind of hard to gauge because they're gonna suck, but I don't know where they can land. Vegas gave them 31.5. They won 36 last year with the KD and
Beal Durant. Yeah.
But did Beal? I mean, Beal was injured. Beal was injured. I don't remember add Beal to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Booker and KD, they won 36 last year. Yeah, give me this under. I think we could spend 30 minutes talking about this because it's so hard to gauge, but I think for simplicity, just give me this under.
Adrian, how are you feeling?
I don't even think there's much to talk about here. As much as we love um, some of the Devin Booker, like this is a no-brainer. They're waiting for the lottery next year. This you can book that. This team is cooked.
Do they have their own pick next year?
We spoke about this. I think they have a pick swap next year, and I think the following year after that, they
Washington will receive the more favorable if it's 2026 first-round pick.
Even worse.
Yeah.
It's over for them. Devin Booker, look for flights to Miami.
Yeah, man, it's hard. I wanna smash the under because I can't see this team doing anything, but man, I just feel like the vibes were so bad last season for whatever the reason was, and I don't know if anyone will ever know why. I don't think they're gonna win more than they did last season. I don't think they'll win more than 36 games.
Exactly.
But I think
but 31 is low.
I think they'll win more than 31. I'm not confident in that. I'm going to go with a very soft over. Like maybe this team wins 32, 33 games just off of like Devin Booker and role players, you know, Jalen Green maybe playing a little bit more consistently on a team where he has more of a green light, maybe. Mark Williams being healthy, maybe. It's maybe Kaman Malawach comes in and makes an impact right away. I mean, it's tough. I like Devin Booker a lot. Even though I'm taking a very soft over on this team, I think this team should blow it up. And we talked about this before, but that's a separate topic. But I feel like they should blow it up and just trade Devin Booker. But while this roster lasts, I'm going to go with a soft over. This next one, I think,
before we go to the next team, though, Chris, I have a question.
Yeah,
and we can pin this in for another day, though, not for now, because I'm not sure we have time. I'd be interested to know how you feel about the owner of the Phoenix Suns, given how you feel about the owner of the Clippers.
I think
because they both done things to help their team get in the right positions, but look at where it's got them.
Yeah. I think he has good intentions. But as much as the Clippers have necessarily made bad, I think it's just a completely different scenario because the KD trade, I think the KD trade you make 10 times out of 10 times, right? I think the issue was trading for Beal. I think that was, I have no way to wrap my head around that trade. I don't know how you trade valuable assets.
The fences.
Huh?
Swinging for the fences.
But he plays the same position as your best player.
Yeah, that was
what
insane.
Didn't get to me. Like if Devin Booker was a center, you know, and then you trade for a small forward and Beal, but you traded for another shoot first guard who's older, who had health issues, and then guess what? You got now these 3 shoot first players, and 2 of them have health issues, like Kevin Durant to some extent.
I agree with you completely, by the way.
Yeah,
I agree with you completely. That was the biggest point.
The reason why I feel a little bit different about the Clippers is because overall, I think Harden has been a good trade for them, and then the Kawhi trade, I think, is debatable. I think there's at least a little bit more nuance. I think and the Paul George trade was, look, hindsight is 2020. I don't think anyone could have predicted Shea becoming an MVP. You know, that was a bad trade, obviously. But I just feel like it's not the same case of like new owner syndrome.
Why and Paul George play the same position?
They do, but they've made it work on that team. Like when they've been healthy, they've played pretty well. They're smart players. I just think it's a different.
37 games. That shit's nice.
Yeah,
and George even less.
I've also never been a big Beal guy, personally. Just like even in his prime, not to take away from how good of a player he once was, but I mean, actually to an extent, taking away from how good a player he once was. Paul George in his prime, Kawhi in their primes. Those are players that I don't think you can breathe. Like, don't breathe the same air as Beal. Like they're in a different class to me than Beal.
No, but they haven't been in their prime for like 8 years.
They haven't, but you were betting on players that I think that I would have bet on. I wouldn't ever bet on Beal. Like, I just think that was silly. But we could talk more about that another day.
Yeah.
Moving on to Portland. Their line is at 33.5. They won 36 wins last season.
Oh, God, this is horrible.
They added Drew Holiday. They added Damian Lillard, who is injured, will not be playing this season. They added Blake Wesley. They lost Anthony Simons and DeAndre Ayton. They did draft the Chinese Jokic, Young Hansen, at 16. Some people are now saying that Jokic is the Serbian young Hansen. So some people are saying that. Pupo, you already gave it. Do you want to just quickly go over what's your quick?
Yeah,
under?
this is wow, Drew, brother. Look, I don't know what teams are on his bucket list, but
Get out of there.
Sorry, giving them hope. Dame not playing. Anfernee Simons, I thought was a good player. DeAndre Ayton, basically nothing. So yeah, 33.5. This might be the second worst team in the Western Conference. So that's an the easiest, probably the easiest bet here is this under right here.
How are you feeling, Adrian?
Exactly how Pupo feels. Drew Holiday, find a new team. The rest of you, they're cooked. I love Chauncey Billups, but man, they are cooked.
Yeah,
I mean, they're gonna bet on
Scoot.
Scoot, yeah. I think Scoot's not a good player, by the way. So I'm gonna start by saying that. Scoot not a good player, but yeah, 33.5, like I said, under. Sorry, Chris.
They're betting on him. They're betting on Donovan Clingan, kind of, but that's also weird because they drafted another center behind Donovan Clingan when they just drafted Donovan Clingan. Yeah, I'm also going with the under. I am excited to see the Chinese Jokic play basketball. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. But I don't see this team. Drew was already even if Drew gives it his all to this team, which I don't think he necessarily wants to or will. He was already starting to see some signs of decline. Yeah, when he was with the Celtics.
Yeah,
so it's unders all around. We have 3 teams left. I think we're all going to be somewhat on a similar page with these. We'll see. Sacramento, the Kings, they're at 35.5. They won 40 last season. They added Drew Eubanks. They added Dennis Schroeder. They added Dario Saric. They lost Jake LaRavia. They lost Jonas Valanciunas. They drafted number 24, Nick Clifford. I'm going to just say my own take. I'm going the under. I think this team is miserable. There's some rumors that they might be trading DeMar DeRozan away, which I hope so for his sake. They just like took the Bulls and brought them to the Kings, and the Bulls weren't good either. I don't think it's just a bunch of misfit toys there. I don't know. If I were them, they're another team that I'd be looking to blow it up. I'm taking the under on that. How are you guys feeling?
Just give me this under as well. Dennis Schroeder, I don't think is a good player. Losing JV, it's okay, but I think at some point they're gonna trade. In the pecking order would be probably DeMar, and then
Levine.
What was DeMar? Then Levine, and then last
Markkanen.
it would be Sabonis. Wouldn't it be Sabonis? Yeah, I almost got confused there too. But yeah, last one would be Sabonis. I love Sabonis, granted. But yeah, just give me this under. I don't think they're going to even remotely close to 35.
How are you feeling?
I'm taking the under. I'm going to be real short-winded. This team is a gumbo of different shit.
Yeah.
And shit on top of shit is more shit. Under.
And I do want to say they have their own pick this year. There's no reason for them to be good.
So they're waiting for the lottery too.
Yeah, that's what I'd be doing if I were them. So we're all in agreement. Under. This next team, this is a fun one. This is a very fun one. The San Antonio Spurs. They're slotted at 43.5 wins. They won 34 last season. Obviously, we do know that Wemby was shut down with a blood clot. Not like a recurring injury kind of thing. It was a freak of nature. According to all signs, he's cleared. He's healthy to play. Pupo has a very nice picture of Wemby he shares quite often of Wemby holding a brick in front of a wall when he was studying with the Shaolin monks. Wemby's having the most interesting offseason ever. Yeah. They added Luke Cornett, they added Kelly Olynyk, they added Lindy Waters. They did lose a few role players, Malachi Brown, Sandro Mama. I never say this guy's name. Mamakala Chevy. I pronounced it wrong. Mamu is usually what people call him short. Chris Paul and Blake Wesley. I mean, whatever. They drafted at number 2, Dylan Harper, who's I think will be a pretty good player. And they drafted at number 14, Carter Bryant, who was playing really, really, really good defense in the summer league, who I think slotted nicely next to Wemby. I'm going to go ahead and say, give me the over on this team just because I'm super, super, super high on Wemby. Like, I mean, who isn't, right? Like anybody who's thinking Wemby's not good at this point is just, I don't know what you're watching necessarily. Pupo, how do you feel with Wemby being your, is Wemby your favorite player right now?
No, I'm actually not the biggest enjoyer of Wemby. I know he's good. I know he's disgusting. I just don't like watching him play, he's a very funny guy, and he's also a very smart guy. But yeah, this over is easy, bro. If this guy stays healthy, they have a good team. The thing is, like, his health is somewhat of a concern maybe at this point. But yeah, they're a good team, man. If he stays healthy, easy 44, 45 games. That's without a doubt. And Luke Cornett, amazing player. Not an amazing player, good player, good role player.
Kelly Olynyk is a good spacing big. He can space the floor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, getting Dylan Harper, hopefully he's good. I didn't watch Summer League, if he did play at Summer League to begin with.
Yeah.
But
he was looking good. I mean, he's young. He's going to be a young guard. There'll be some growing pains, but they have Stephon Castle. They have De'Aaron Fox still. Like, they don't need him to be that good that quickly.
Exactly. So, their team is good. Probably not destined to win, a chip, but good enough to get you 44, 45.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the over as well. I think the Fox pickup's going to work well this year. I think, obviously, Wemby's great. Wemby's awesome. We have to see how they continue to monitor the blood clot situation just because of his height and his size and all of the traveling that they have to do for 10 months. So I wonder how that looks like in the regular season. And if they're going to be in the playoffs, will things change? Will Wemby maybe not go to every single away game because of the long distance traveling? Could that impact it? Maybe not. Maybe he's fine. I don't know. He's been with the Monks. He's been playing some soccer. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's living.
He's having a very interesting offseason. Yeah, I think we're all in a similar agreement with him. And then last and absolutely least, the Utah Jazz at 18.5 is what they're started at. They won 17 last season. They added Kyle Anderson, rest in peace to Kevin Love. They took him from us, which allowed us to get Norman Powell, but feel bad to send Love over there to the barren wasteland that is the Utah Jazz. They added Nurkic. They lost John Collins. They lost Colin Sexton. They bought out Jordan Clarkson. They drafted at 5 Ace Bailey. They drafted at 18 Walter Clayton Jr. Ace Bailey, I'm not super high on. Walter Clayton, for where he was drafted, I think he'll be a decent guard. He's a score first guard, but he's not going to be able to play any defense just yet. I'm expecting them to trade Lauri Markkanen before the season ends. It seems like they're trying to trade all their good players. They have their own pick this year. They have their own pick next year. It seems to me like they're in a rebuild, and it seems to me if I'm Markkanen, I don't want to waste another year here. That being said, Vegas knows what they're doing, and setting that line at 18.5, it makes it really hard to be like, I think they're going to win less than that. Like, are we getting into 14 game territory? It's tough. It's very tough, but I'm going to hit the under. I feel it's hard because of where the line is at, but you're leaning on a lot of rookies, on a lot of young players. If they're smart, and it sounds like it, they're going to let Ace Bailey and Walter Clayton Jr. shoot the ball every single time they have the ball. They're going to play them a lot of minutes. They're not going to guard anybody. They're in the West. Me and Pupo were talking about this before the call. I think they're probably the worst team in the league, like in the whole league right now.
Yeah. Not
necessarily set up for the future in those type of things, but just like the current roster and what it can do. They're the worst team in the league. I don't think they beat anybody. So, yeah, under for me. Adrian, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to take the under as well. I don't think Kevin Love will be there long.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure Kyle Anderson nor Nurkic will be there long. Markkanen, we'll see. I think if he stays for the whole season, it's a travesty, poor guy. But I do feel like he might be able to get him to like 15 wins if he stays. But yeah, I feel like they're headed in a whole nother direction with these young guys. And I don't know what D Wade and these guys are doing over there in Utah, but yeah, that's a disaster. That's a crapshoot. They suck.
Yeah. Pupo?
Yeah, I mean, I think we spent like 20 minutes talking about this, but I think, we came to the agreement that they might just be the worst team in the NBA next to, I think I said, the Wizards. It is tricky because like these are professional basketball players. Like, dang, you can't win 18 games or 19 games that Vegas said. So, but they did lose John Collins and Colin Sexton, which I think Colin Sexton isn't the best player of all time. But it's unfortunate. We went through the teams in the West. I don't think they could even scrape 12 games.
Yeah, I mean, like this roster: Kyle Anderson, Ace Bailey, Walter Clayton Jr., Isaiah Collier, Kyle Filipowski, Deontay George, Elijah Harkless, Taylor Hendricks, Walker Kessler's a decent player, Laurie Markkinen, AJ Martin, Savi Mikhailuk. It's just like a lot of like decent guys. Just decent.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. We're all in agreement here. This is where we're at. This is how we always end these episodes. Just very quickly, we're gonna go around the room. We're gonna say one thing that we are burnt out by this past week, or just in general, and then one thing we're fired up for. We're gonna start with what's burnt out. I like to end on a high note with things we're fired up for. I'll go first, just to, it doesn't have to be basketball related. Obviously, it's the off season. I am burnt out by car issues. Our car broke down the other night on the way to dinner. We had to get our alternator replaced. Everything's all good now, but it was just one of those moments where you're just driving, battery alert, had to pull over, had to wait like 2 hours for a tow. Not fun. So burnt out by car issues. What about you, Pupo? What are you burnt out by?
No, I'm gonna agree with you as well. I think car issues are the worst ones. Last week, popped a tire in middle of expressway. Got home, don't know how, and then I had to drive to the nearest tire shop to get it replaced. But like tire on the ground, rim screeching, the worst. Yeah. Car issues.
And Adrian?
This will come as no surprise to either of you.
Yeah.
Work, man. Work's been kicking my ass a little bit, but it's part of the deal. I know what I signed up for, so we're pushing through. Seasons are around the corner. Shout out the Premier League starting soon. So once we get going with that, we'll my schedule should stabilize a little more.
Looking forward to that for your sake. And now to end on a more positive note, things we are fired up for going forward. For the first time in my life this past weekend, I rode a real horse. I'm fired up about horses. I want a horse now. I want a ranch. I'm looking into how I can make this a reality for myself. I think cars are overrated. Horses are just yeah, big snippet on that one. Horses are just they're the best, man. They're real cool. I don't know if you ever hugged.
But why can't both?
Why can't both? I don't know if you ever hugged a full-grown horse, but just it's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. So fired up about horses.
I'll go ahead and I'm excited for football season, man. Just like college and regular NFL.
Nice.
This transition from summer to now the fall in Miami. It's always a nice one, getting back into that rhythm, Sunday night football, Monday night football, et cetera, et cetera. That's always going to be nice. And like Adrian said, the Premier League as well. So this new season of sports is going to be very fun to watch. So,
Adrian?
Yeah, I'm with Pupo. Aside from my birthday being a few weeks away, I'm excited. The seasons are around the corner. Premier League starts in a few weeks. La Liga starts in a few weeks. Champions League will start in about a month or so. Then NFL, college, everything starts coming back this month. Teams are already in training camp. Things are already getting crazy. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun season of sports, and it's going to be fun.
Nice. Well, I just want to say thank you both for joining us for this Over Under pod. I hope you guys had fun. I definitely did.
Definitely.
Everyone who was listening, who made it this far, just a reminder to please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. Please Instagram DM me. Please comment on the pictures. Please just let me know how we're doing, how you're feeling. If you disagree or agree with any of the things that we've said here, I think, we've got a little bit more consensus on some of these than I expected, but I do agree. I do enjoy some of the disagreements we have. I'm saving this for us to look back on at the end of the season to get a good laugh and to see who maybe was the most correct of us for our over-unders on the West. But thank you both very much. This episode is done.